Hi everyone, this is Jordan at Patchwork Acres. Going to be checking on the bees, and today I'm going to be talking to y'all about the different pests that you have to deal with when you're beekeeping. One is the varroa mite, which is like a small little, you can just barely see it, little red bug thing, and left untreated they can absolutely destroy and kill a hive. The other is small hive beetle, and those are just slightly larger black beetles, and they can also do some damage, though not as dangerous as a varroa in my opinion. And those are the two main ones that at least I have to deal with. So I added some treatments for varroa 30 days ago, and what they are is little strips that you put into the hives, and they contain or have on them this natural chemical that can not harm the bee but destroy the mite. And so what I'm going to do is go remove the old strips and add some new ones in. And hopefully my hives can get over this little varroa problem they have in time to be good and in good and strong shape for winter. So let's go get into the hives. Here we go. Alright, so today you may notice that I'm not wearing any gloves. That's because the gloves that I usually wear are no longer usable. So I think that I am now confident enough and at ease enough around the bees that I can now go gloveless. So we'll see how this goes. Alright, so I won't be checking these top boxes today because I know that they have plenty of stores in there. You know, they got honey, nectar, and pollen, but I'm really just focused on doing this treatment today for them and checking the brood, making sure it's okay. So that's the plan. So this queen is no joke. She is laying eggs like nobody's business. And so down here, you can see that there's a slight difference in the way that these capped cells look compared to these. And what these are, these little bubbly looking ones, those are going to be drones, which are the only male bee in the hive. Right here will be workers. They're the small, flattened cells. But the bubbly ones are going to be boys, the drones. All right, there is Queen Elizabeth. Actually seen her today. And as you can tell, she doesn't want to see me. She goes. Probably hating my guts. Haven't seen her in a long time. Sometimes it's just reassuring to see them. I mean, I've seen her eggs. I know that she's been laying. But sometimes it's just really reassuring to see the queen and have concrete evidence that she is in fact there. Okay, so this is what that treatment strip looks like. And they've kind of discarded most of it themselves already. But anyway, that's what it looks like. We have some dropped pollen. I don't know if you can see them. Looks like they're discussing on who ought to take it. Is it yours? Is it not mine? Is it yours? Well, I don't think it's mine. Discussing it. Alright, here's a really good example of some pollen stores. See all that yellow? Solid pollen. Sometimes the color of pollen changes depending on the time of year. Sometimes it's like really dark bright blue, sometimes it's darker golden color, sometimes it's green, and in some areas of the world you have pink pollen, purple pollen, blue pollen. Here I've only ever seen yellow, really. Sometimes lighter, greener, but mainly just yellow. Alright, got the new treatment strips in. I'll tell you what, these things stink to high heaven. Smells like a cross between a skunk and some sort of old expired dishwashing liquid. It's the best way I can explain it. It's pretty gross.
Alright, and this is how you can tell that they are mad. Flying around, bumping against my veil, telling me to go on somewhere. Just gonna give them a little smoke. Hopefully that'll calm down a little bit. Put this hive back together. This will give you a good look at what happens when you smoke them. They all go down into the frames and gorge themselves on honey. Because smoke, apart from making their pheromones be disrupted, it also makes them think that there's a fire. And so they go and they gorge on honey just in case they all have to leave. That's why it's good to not over smoke them, because they will end up leaving.
Alright, so did get stung. As you could tell, they were pretty mad. Actually the first time that wax minster has stung me. Got me right here on the finger. Just part of it when you're a beekeeper.
Alright, so I don't think I told y'all this in the last video, but this hive right here, Buzzingham, swarmed on me a couple months ago. And what that means is swarming is a hive's way of reproducing or splitting itself. If you think of a hive as a singular organism, it splits itself and makes two. So what it does is the bees get into their minds that where they are is too small, and so they need to split themselves. So the queen will then not be able to eat because the workers chase her around and make her lose a lot of weight so that she's light enough to start flying. And so then when she has lost enough weight, what they do is they leave the hive out of this entrance. The queen flies up into the air. She takes about maybe 10 to 15,000 bees with her. They spiral up into the air and go round and round and round until they're all up in the air together. Then they all fly off to a suitable staging location, which could be like a limb close to the ground, or it could be way up in the tree, just anywhere that they think is best. And from there they send out, they cluster on in that spot, and then they send out scout bees to suitable locations. It could be miles away, or it could just be a few feet away for their new hive. And the queen leaves behind eggs in the old hive. And the workers start feeding that egg royal jelly. And what that does is causes that egg to become a queen. And actually there's several eggs. So there will be several queens in waiting. And so what happens is the queens start to emerge, and whichever queen emerges first goes over and kills all of her sisters. And then she is now the reigning queen. So that's what happened. And so the queen I have now is why she's Victoria II and not Victoria I. Victoria I is, who knows where she is. But Victoria II, her daughter, is right here. And she has actually been a pretty incredible queen. And so maybe we'll see her today. All right, these right here, small hive beetles. They'll eat all your honey and leave the bees with nothing to eat. So, these are no good. And the best thing you can do with those is just smash them. And that's what I've been doing, because they are one of the banes of a beekeeper's existence. Alright, from what I can see, there is a considerable amount of hive beetles in this hive. And that is pretty worrisome. Probably will have to put in some beetle traps. They're called beetle barns, and you just stick them in there and the beetles run in there and can't get out. So I'm going to be putting those in pretty quick like, because I've seen quite a bit of hive beetles in this hive. Alright, there is Queen Victoria II. Got to see both queens today. It's a good day. She's a lot nicer than Elizabeth. She doesn't really mind me looking at her. What she's doing right now is she's going to each cell and sticking her head in, make sure it's the right width and right size to lay an egg in it. She's very particular.
I just closed up the hives, got the new treatments administered. Waxminster's doing great, but Buzzingham has a little bit of a hive beetle problem. So what I'm going to be doing pretty soon is putting some hive beetle traps in there, hopefully to get that beetle population down and get those bees going good again. But that's all for today. Until next time.